So this is like what I call one of my masterpieces in Rome 2 campaign strategies. When you are going up against two armies of any faction and you don't want to attack them in their defensive position, but you want to draw them out to attack you, what I usually do is I go into double time, get as close to the settlement as possible. Both armies attack me, trying to ambush me, but the ambush is actually a trap. Look at here. They have 4,880 troops. I have 2,226 troops, but it's an elite corps with ballistas, heavy cavalry, and each unit is capable of taking down two enemy units. That's the trick here. The balance of power shows that I'll be doomed, but let's see how it goes. So the trap begins. My soldiers with cavalry in the beginning, which is very good. Elephants are exposed, and here comes the Spartan from all directions. It's very imperative that all of them form up into a single defensive line. Now, two units are attacking your one unit that can take down both armies, and you're in the defensive rather than you taking on two armies. The only problem is that you have to form up very fast. The most annoying part of this would be, of course, the skirmisher cavalry and the Tarentine cavalries. But yeah, I had brought some hoplites. We've got some hoplites, African pikemen, and even Libyan infantry. The only problem was that I couldn't get them in defensive position. I wanted with Libyan infantry on the extremes and followed by Carthaginian hoplites, and then with African pikemen in the middle. But still, pikemen against hoplites is really good trade to fight against. And yeah, the enemy's reinforcements should be entering somewhere on now. Let's get back to the battle. Yeah, so these hoplites, the wall of services very quickly. And here, Imperial spears, Imperial hoplites against Libyan infantry. The point here is to constantly keep on moving, overwhelm their cavalry, overwhelm their skirmishers if possible with my cavalry, and then keep on doing the double envelopment cavalry charge against their lines, attacking them in the rear. Be nimble, keep watching, and but it's pretty easy. One army will rush to eliminate you, and by that time you should have been done killing this army by the time this army approaches. Anyway, let's get back here. These guys are easily retreating skirmisher cavalry, the most annoying arms that I actually get with my giant ballistas. Now, since these are giant ballistas, they will be immobile. They will not be able to change formations. So they will end up shooting themselves in friendly fire. These are cannon fodder anyway. Best that the javelin shoot at them and not at my pikemen series of formations. Here another double envelopment just happened that we missed to show you, but still with only javelin in here, I rushed in there. Spartans don't have a very strong cavalry force, so that taking advantage of that with very heavy shock cavalry gets interesting. Only thing is that they get tired very easily. The very heavy shock cavalry. And Libyan infantry are one of the best, almost at par or even better than thorax swordsmen. So yeah, use them a lot. Separating the skirmishers from the main army and then running them down just makes it looks too easy. Except this is the kind of pieces that you need to strike, even envelop with my own hoplites, not waiting for the cavalry. Here for the spears, the javelins came up. some damage. And I think these guys are entering the range at which my ballistas can shoot. These guys should be routed so they don't enter combat again. But other than that, should be pretty easy as long as the African pikemen are not surrounded from this side, from this flank. The point with artillery is that you can get a lot of kills. 139. Yeah, these guys haven't killed much. Carthaginian hoplites are attacking these period hoplites from the flanks. Then hoplites, getting them in formation properly is also kind of a little difficult. And here the Periokai spears also got a double envelopment charge from the cavalry in the rear. The citizen cavalry is chasing down my very heavy shock cavalry, who was not very tired, so it could turn out good for me. It's at this point that I noticed that they did bring pikemen sarissa formations as well. So naturally my sarissas went behind their sarissas. African pikemen have very low defense, but they might not also be the best pikemen. They're definitely not the best pikemen, but pikemen are still pikemen, right? So a lot of spears can do heavy damage when they attack slowly. Another advantage that I took out here was taking the initiative and getting a very strong force against the mediocre forces. Trapping Periokai hoplites between two African hoplites, and then all these had to be done before that army got here. The citizen cavalry was shattered, yeah. But still these slingers kept going on. It's a skirmisher cavalry that I targeted. While I am using my ballistas, it's best to get rid of these nimble, fast cavalry that can easily target and run down my ballistas. And once ballistas are hit, they don't get back to combat, right? I mean, at least in the vanilla series of Grand Campaign. This is from the Carthaginian campaign that I started very recently, back in the end of July, and as always, the Royal Spartans will not relent. They will fight till the end. It does look like these guys are facing the opposite way. I don't know, and it's difficult to look at all places at the same time. That's what makes Rome so interesting, with a lot of micro that needs to be done. At this point, I think I was withdrawing my Libyan infantry that were down in numbers by a lot because, well, I need to save them by attacking the capital. I think I did the same with the noble cavalry, but then there was no other option with these skirmishes. So I brought out my war elephants. Yeah, the general, I actually sacrificed him. Didn't matter much because this was the general I just fielded, newly created army with fresh recruits, and the noble cavalry were the only one with experience because of some ability, I guess. Yeah, completely forgot about these because now they're facing spears. Here at least I could rearrange the pikemen into a proper formation. And here the noble royal Spartans are just getting surrounded from all sides, and still they won't relent, even though they're exhausted. Here they started retreating. Now the second army would be here, and they didn't rush, which would have been bad for me if I had to protect all of the lines at the same time, but it would have been bad for them also because these are very heavy spear infantry. They would be tired by the time they get here, not able to fight. So even my troops would get a little bit of rest. By the time they get here, when they got here. Oh, nice. That was a nice shot. 10 kills. No hit. African elephants now ran amok, but they were still against skirmisher cavalry who do not have bonus versus large. Oh, I think I hit like, what, 3 guys? 4 guys maybe. Not more than that. And I think it's at this point while shooting down the second army that my ballistas actually went into friendly fire mode. Let's see. No, a little bit of hits, and it's difficult. If they were sprayed like all along like this, then it would have been very easy. And now I think, yeah, another development against Pikemen. That was pretty good. The general had to sacrifice himself, and it was good because we could buy some time there and lose much with the level 1 general, and I could form up my line. Meanwhile, get a few shots in as well. Oh, that was just bad shooting. But then that happens with flammable rounds. Again, chasing down slingers. Skirmisher cavalry chasing down the naval cavalry. At this point, I think even 2 of my cavalry units had to be brought back somewhere here. Or I don't know, I think they just, I think that only happened with the Libyan infantry while the cavalry just completely routed. Okay, let's see another development charge. The K spears. Ooh. That was a good charge. And these guys did 103 kills, 105 kills. Not a lot from elephants, but yeah, as long as they could deny the initiative to the Tarentine cavalry, it's still a win. Yeah, I think 2 units of my cavalry were left, and that was all. Some Libyan infantry I was trying to save so that I could use them in the battle next time. They would have run if they had fought more, so I think that was the right call. Anyway, yeah, friendly fire began here. This guy probably shot this guy down, and well, other than that, I just had to wait till their ranks again clashed against us. They brought pikemen, they brought hoplites. See, these are not top tier troops, even though they are very heavy spear infantry, and even Carthaginian hoplites can actually put up a fight if you actually surround them, attack them on the flanks and everything. And I think this is when the whole elephant corps went down. This was getting annoying, very annoying with the mercenary talented cavalry. But luckily they ran out of ammo, is what I can see from here. And then they were just charging my heavy cavalry, all winded. Back into formation, doing the approach. Still, I think 1 Libyan infantry in the fight. 2 here, 1 retreated. And since the mercenary giant and cavalries were actually going hand to hand or horse to horse against my noble cavalry, I just kind of figure out the only ones left to shoot at are these Helot slingers, which, even though they are Helots, they do put up a fight. It's quite towards Sparta. And that's, I think, at this point that their cavalry also started charging my lines. Actually, we have only 1 target. These Helot slingers, and apparently themselves with friendly fire. Yeah, like that. Here again attacking the pikemen from the rear. And 1 more Libyan infantry just gave away. Here, what do we have? Periodic hoplites against Sarissa walls of African pikemen. Late Carthaginian hoplites, right? They've loved to got some, to get some sacred band instead of the late Carthaginian hoplites, but then that's a lot of research time and waiting. And I prefer to use rush mode tactics where they don't get enough time to prepare properly, and even my weaker troops can actually defeat them with great battle tactics. Just like what we're doing here, but we're not using weaker tactics here. In this grand campaign, I think you can find other videos of Noyai, Pictonus, Boyai, I think, where I actually use trash units to surround and double envelop and kill double the size of the armies that we were facing. They will be on YouTube after this video goes live, though. But you'll be able to see on the scheduled premiere page. Should be on my YouTube wall. Anyway, it looks like I was trying to attack them from the flanks here. Get my cavalry in order. Yeah, again attack them from the rear. This is very heavy shock cavalry, right? Okay, late Carthaginian hoplites are losing. Look at the color. But these are facing Royal Spartans, so yeah, that happens. And here, Ryoka hoplites again. Attacked by cavalry in the back. Look at this. Didn't give enough time for these pikemen. What kind of formation is that? Their hoplites being chased by my late Carthaginian hoplites. Very tired and fresh. So we can see what's gonna do better. So this type of formation is just the best to use surrounding African pikemen, but then it only works against when you're going against factions that can field or will field only hoplites and phalanxes. Won't really work with melee infantry, but with spear infantry it'll do splendidly. Yeah, here again I'm regrouping. Here as well. These guys came back from the retreat, I guess. But either way, it was just getting the noble cavalry to charge around and hit from the behind by picking them apart individually. Yeah, I think all that was left were the Royal Spartans. Surrounded, but still, a unit winning. That's how good they are. I think it was time for this Periokai hoplites to get hit on the back. When you keep doing this, charging a noble cavalry around, they will get very tired because they are very heavy shock cavalry, which means they will be carrying a lot of armor, and that will tire them. So let's see the battle statistics. What turned out to be a definite defeat is a close victory. Usually I go by 10% of the deployed should be more than my losses, but see, since we were facing like an elite enemy, I think this is still counts, right? We deployed less than half of theirs. We lost only 1,000, they lost 3,800. Cavalry did a lot of kills, elephant did well, but yeah, they led to the ultimate sacrifice that actually slowed them down. The ballistas didn't do very well. They usually do a lot better than this. Hoplites did well, some of them didn't do very well, and well, they fought, but they ultimately fell into my trap. They tried to ambush me, but yeah, they walked into a trap, thinking they could trap me. Anyway, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and wait for the next one.